So let's talk about, one of the things I think you sound pretty adept at is around fundraising and how to find the right investors, how to structure equity, all of those things. I think at one point we were talking, you said, you enjoy reading a term, like reading a term sheet is fun, is fun for you, which I don't think anyone's ever said that to me before. Can you talk a little bit about what your opinions are on how to structure a company the right way from a cap table perspective, the good, the bad? Just give me a little bit of that, because we haven't actually talked about this on this podcast yet, and I think it's actually a pretty critical thing, especially when you're early, because it has so much knock-on effect down the road.
Yeah, so well said. So I would say, to flip it on its head, you should look at your cap table as a tool or a strategy to build the business. So most people don't realize the power in their cap table. I see many founders that aren't in communication with investors, and they're not keeping them up to date. They're not realizing that getting them as excited as customers and employees are important, and they're not keeping up the relationship with those investors. And they're also not realizing all the different types of investors out there and the types of money to raise. We'll talk about the difference between venture capital and private equity or angel investors, but then the real breakdown is actually within those verticals. So if you have a corporate VC that's investing, that's different than an independent VC. Or who is their anchor LP? Is it one big bank, or is it a series of small angel investors with boat payments? You have to understand the details behind and interview the venture capitalist if you want to understand how they're going to behave in the boardroom. And you have to be very thoughtful about the construct of your board, who's involved, when they're involved, the number of seats, and who the board member is and how long you've known the board member. Entrepreneurs are way too flippant about it. They're celebrating in rounds. I will literally look at the round, the fund docs. I'll be an angel investor and I'll think, oh, Series B, they're likely going to be replaced. And it's highly unlikely that if they aren't replaced, that they're not very uncomfortable in their job. And they're thinking, how do I either exit or I'm not having fun anymore? And I'll literally read the docs and feel kind of like, while everyone's celebrating, I'll kind of feel bad.
I have so many questions about this. The best founders that you've seen, in terms of, I love what you said about keeping investors as excited, like getting them excited like you would customers or partners or employees. The best founders that you've seen who do that, how do they do that?
So I think one is making sure that they understand your product or service. You'd be amazed how many investors, especially in the early stages, they may know you well and they may be betting on you, but insist that they understand what you do and offer opportunities for them to see new product updates or demos, right? So we actually sent an email out just a month or so ago inviting investors to come join for a demo to get to understand the new updates at Fullcast. They get forgotten about a lot, and you don't realize that there's a lot of power to harness there. They're shareholders. They put hard-earned money in. They want a reason to root for you. You got to give it to them.